the canonical Bible, Father Abraham's life starts at 75 years old. And in the Old Testament, he's like the second most important person behind only Moses. But we get Moses' life starting from a baby. Well, in the book of Joshua, we get Abraham's life starting as a baby as well. And from the very first night Abraham was born, his biggest enemy was none other than Nimrod. You see, Abraham's father Terah, he was super cool with Nimrod. He was one of Nimrod's most devout followers. So on the night Abraham was born, Terah was having a party. So after everybody get done partying, having a good time, the wise men of Nimrod, they look at the stars and they saw one large star came from the east and it ran into the heavens. It swallowed up 4 stars from 4 sides of the heavens. So they was all astonished. And it says all the wise men and the sages understood what they saw. So they was scared, but they was like, man, we got to tell Nimrod like what we just seen, because we know what this mean. So they was telling Nimrod exactly what happened. They was like, Terah, the son of Nahor, he had a son. So we was over there drinking, rejoicing, having a good time. When we left, we couldn't believe what we seen. So they told him what they saw, and then they let him know what it mean, exactly what they saw. So chapter 8, verse 11 says, "And thy servants were astonished at the sight which we saw, and were greatly terrified, and we made our judgment upon the sight, and knew by our wisdom the proper interpretation thereof, that this thing applies to the child that is born to Terah, who will grow up and multiply greatly, and become powerful, and kill all the kings of the earth, and inherit all their lands, and his seed forever." So at that point, they like, so if it's good with you, we can do something evil to him. We can go ahead and take him up out of here. Nimrod, he like, hey, bring him to me. He was like, matter of fact, get Terah. Let me come see Terah real quick. Terah come in front of Nimrod. Terah, he coming with all love. Nimrod like, so I heard you had a son the other night. I'm like, yeah, I did. Nimrod like, I'm gonna have to go ahead and take him up out of here. I give you tons of gold and silver. Terah was like, man, that's crazy. Like, I don't think I can do that. But he hit him with an allegory. Terah tells Nimrod, like, hey, somebody had offered me a whole lot of money for some of the animal and stock that you had given me. And Nimrod got upset. He was like, I gave that to you. Like, what money is worth anything that I gave to you? And Terah basically kind of flipped it on him, was like, that's kind of how I feel about my son. And Terah was like, just give me like 3 days to figure out like what I'm gonna do, and then I'll come back to you. Nimrod was mad, but he was like, all right, that's cool, you got 3 days. So in those 3 days, Terah has a handmaid that has a child that's a newborn baby as well. They offered that baby to Nimrod, but they presented to be as Abram, who would go on to be Father Abraham. So when they brought the newborn baby to him, Nimrod picked the baby up, dashed his head into the ground, baby splattered down, unalived immediately on the floor. And it says that the Lord was with Terah in this matter, that he would be able to fool Nimrod, making him believe that that baby was his actual baby. And it says they hid Abram in a cave until he was 10 years old. It was just his mother and the nurse. And then when he turned 10 years old, he went to go live with Noah and Shem. And it says he learned the ways of the Most High from Noah and Shem from 10 years old up until he was 49 years old. So in total, he was in Noah's house for 39 years. So then when he 49, he go back to his daddy's house, to the house of Terah. And Terah, he followed Nimrod. He got all these false gods in the house, these 12 statues. And Abram, he walking in the way of the Most High. He ain't no idols going on. So one of the statues had a big axe on it. Abram took the axe and knocked down all the statues, destroyed every last one of them, and kept one of them standing, the one that was holding the axe. So when Terah get back, he see that, he like, oh my God, what have you done, son? Abram like, man, I didn't do nothing. He was like, that statue did, the one holding the axe, the weapon. Terah was like, man, quit playing with me. I know he didn't do it. He can't do that. He was like, so why would you worship something that you know can't move? It's not living. You don't worship a living God. Terah was hot. Terah was so mad he took his own son to Nimrod to tell him exactly what had happened. Chapter 11, verse 55, Abram said, do you imagine that they can deliver me or do anything small or great because I don't serve them? Talking about these false gods. And why will you not, since the God of the whole universe who created you and whose power is it to kill and keep alive, O foolish and simple and ignorant king, woe unto thee forever. Then he said, I thought you would teach thy servants the upright way, but you have not done this, but hast filled the whole earth with thy sins and the sins of thy people who have followed thy ways. Do you not know, or have you not heard, that this evil which you do, our ancestors sinned therein days of old? And the eternal God brought the waters of the flood upon them and destroyed them all, and also destroyed the whole earth on their account. And will you and thy people rise up now and do like unto this work in order to bring down the anger of the Lord God of the universe and bring evil upon thee and the whole earth? Now therefore put away this evil deed which you do, and serve the God of the universe, as thy soul is in his hands, and then it will be well with thee. Thy people and all who are connected with thee, hearing thy words, are walking in thy evil ways. And if thy wicked heart will not hearken to my words to cause thee to forsake thy evil ways and to serve the eternal God, then wilt thou die in shame in the latter days. And when Abram ceased speaking before the king and princes, Abram lifted up his eyes to the heavens, and he said, the Lord see all the wicked, and he will judge them. So when Nimrod heard all Abram had to say, he imprisoned him. And Nimrod was furious because he found out that Abram was the baby that he thought he had killed 50 years ago. So he's getting his revenge on everybody. In the midst of all his revenge, he orders Abram and his brother Haran to be put in a fiery furnace. But I have to make another video about what happens in the fiery furnace.